What's up, Four Eyes?
What's up, Dumpy?
Oh, well, that's a mean one.
Four Eyes is a mean one.
Four Eyes is just glasses. Dumpy is like my everything.
Do you feel dumpy today?
Yeah, I do for the
Well,
last
then
few
it's
days.
not an insult. It's just me being acknowledging who you are and where you are in life.
Dumpy sounds like you're calling me fat.
No.
Oh,
And I'm Four Eyes because I bought some blue light blocking glasses. When I look at my phone for the 15 minutes a day, I look at my phone.
I should
And
just get blue light implants because all I do is look at screens all day.
I actually need it for my laptop because my laptop doesn't have any kind of blue blocking. Remember those sunglasses back in the day, blue blockers?
Yeah, but is that what it was? Was it the same? Is that the same meaning? I thought they were just big sunglasses.
I thought they were big yellow sunglasses. I remember them being yellow. So maybe they were blue blockers.
What, for the sky, not for screens?
It wasn't for screens, there was no computers.
Sky blockers.
And it had like a rap song associated with it. It was a commercial on TV.
That sounds bad.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know what is wrong with people.
There's a lot wrong with people.
Yes. I went to the grocery store today, rode there on my bike, brought my little backpack with me, did my shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was checking out, there was an older woman in front of me, probably mid to late 70s. And right as I was kind of walking up, they were doing that situation. She didn't have enough money. She was $4 short.
Mm.
And so like when I realized what was happening, they had taken a piece of spinach pie that she had bought from the deli off of her bill and were taking it back to the deli because that was $4 and then she would have had enough to pay and whatever. And as I realized that was happening, I said, wait, just give me that. I'll buy the, like,
Mhm.
I'll pay for that. And the woman working at the grocery store goes, no, that's okay.
No.
And I want to buy that. And they were like, the girl's already back at the deli. Don't worry about it. And then the old woman in front of me was like, thanks, and turned around and walked out.
Rude.
What?
And they can't put that shit back in the deli area. They're literally going to throw it right in the garbage.
She's already back at you're in it. First of all, it's not like she went back to like Florida.
Yeah, literally, you're like 20 feet away. Everybody calm down.
Secondly, it's $4. Like, just give it to me. I'll buy it.
Yeah, and how much of that shit do you dump in the garbage at the end of the night?
For sure. But I've never had a grocery store say like, no, that's okay. You don't have to help this old woman out.
Yeah, you don't have to do this nice thing in our store. Don't worry about it.
And then they rang me up and I must have looked mad. And as I walked away, the woman at the other register goes, I would have paid for that too, but I don't have any cash on me.
Yeah, then why don't you call your manager and be like, can we do one nice thing today, please, God?
I was so mad for the next hour. I was like, what is wrong with people?
I'm so mad. It's fucking food.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It was upsetting to me.
It's upsetting.
So that was the John at the grocery store story.
Bogus. Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, why don't you start ringing up my shit? I'm gonna go get that lady's pie since nobody that works here wants to go get it.
I was really so flummoxed. I didn't know what to do as it was all happening so quick. Like I was like, wait, did they just tell me what's going? And then like I was rung up and then I was like, should I just leave and not buy anything? There was like so much going on in my head. It was like, is there a manager I should have talked to? Like,
yeah. And the lady probably felt stupid too, so she wasn't trying to hang around either. She probably just wanted to get the fuck out of the store.
Yeah, she bailed immediately.
Yeah, that sucks.
Ugh. People, listen, try and put sparkle in people's lives. Don't be so dead behind the eyes, everybody.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
I guarantee that cashier lady probably could have rang some kind of coupon behind the counter and been like, oh, whoopsie, now your bill's $4 lower. Here we go.
I'm sure that cashier could have deleted it off of her bill and just charged her the $20 for the rest of her food and left it in the bag and let her go.
Seriously.
I don't know how many retail stores I've worked at where people have been like, and this. And I went, just take it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's happened to me and you several times on road trip. Where did we get free water the other day? When I was like, "Can I have 2 bottled water?" So they're like, "Just take these." Oh, when me and Bex were buying dirt bags from Home Depot, we were bringing up all the dirt shit, and then at the end, I'm like, "I need these 2 bottled waters," and the girl's like, "Just fucking take them." I'm like, sick.
Yeah, it's not that hard, people.
No, it's not that hard. Anyway, I'm back on my Elvis shit, and I watched Elvis movies all weekend, and I watched Girl Happy, I watched GI Blues, and I watched Live a Little, Love a Little. And in Live a Little, Love a Little, the lady in it that he's dealing with, she's crazy, and she has a dog who she brings everywhere, which is relatable. And she makes everyone say hi to it and bye to it and all of this stuff, which is funny. But anyway, so Elvis falls asleep in her fucking house. I think she drugged him. Anyway, he in the dream, the dog in his weird nightmare, there is a person dressed up as the dog talking to him, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then he falls through this doorway in the dream into, he's falling down into nothingness, like a black hole that you fall in your dream. And then when he lands at the bottom, he sings a song, and it's like a fever dream. I'm like, this has never happened in Elvis movie. This is crazy.
He is the king of the elves.
He is an elf king.
You know that's what his name means, right?
Elvis?
It means elf wise. It's taught by the elves.
Well, I love him.
Did you know he was a giant elf?
No, I did not. But I listened to him all day at work on Monday and Wednesday, and all my clients had to listen to it on repeat, every other song. And my client today lived in Tennessee for a while, and she brought it up. I was like, oh, well, that's cute that I have this on. And she's like, yeah, it works. It was a sync. But I'll probably watch another one tonight because I'm on a roll.
Well, I'm gathering all my new information for my lectures, my upcoming lectures. That's what I did all day.
Good job.
Thanks.
You're just going to save that information for
if I can't blow it all now.
Yeah, I know.
I went down some side rabbit holes, which were a little bit fun. You want to hear one?
Yeah. Oh, you just said you couldn't talk about anything.
This is not for my lecture. It's one of the side rabbit holes I went down.
Fine. Tell me about a rabbit hole.
I'll tell you about Private Wojak.
Okay.
In World War II, Private Wojak his mother was killed, and Polish soldiers found him at a train station, and they really didn't know what to do with him. So he was part of the 22nd Artillery Supply for the Polish Corps in World War II. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they had him carry all by himself, because he was so big, 100-pound boxes of ammunition and 25-pound mortar shells.
Jeez.
That's what he did for the entire war. And then he got the rank at the end of the war of corporal.
He sounds like a pack mule.
It was a bear.
Jeez. It was a bear, a real bear?
It was a real bear.
I was close.
He was a bear cub. They found him at a railroad station. His mother had been killed by hunters. And so the officers in the Polish Army Corps were like, we can't just leave this baby bear here by himself. So they brought him along, and they kept feeding him, and he kept getting bigger and bigger. And then the army was like, you can't have a bear like in your platoon. So they gave him the rank of private so he could be a soldier. And then the army was like, well, if he's in the army, he's got to do something. So they had him carry all the ammunition boxes around for like an entire year. And then he did such a good job doing it, they changed their logo to a bear carrying ammunition boxes, and they gave him the rank of corporal.
I feel like, aren't there other stories of like the Russian army or like something using bears?
I don't know, but I know Private Wojak.
Okay. Shout out to Private Wojak.
There you go.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Good work, buddy.
Good work, buddy. And just a side note, we don't condone when humans use animals for fucking work or entertainment.
The reason I went into that was because I was reading about paranormal stuff for animals, and I slipped down the rabbit hole of animals that humans put to work.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
As if the animals have a choice.
Yeah, I don't like that. Humans just use everything. Use our land, use the air, use the water, use the animals. Fucking humans are bullshit.
Yeah. And then I saw a video on that same research into paranormal animals. I saw a video of a dog that would continually rip apart everything in a house. And I thought of Toad.
Toad is reformed.
I know, but then I watched this animal psychologist, and they said that you often forget all dogs are descended from wolves. And so when they rip stuff up, they are in their brains, they're still wolves.
Well, I don't ever forget that, because I always try and tell people that too, who tell me that they don't let their dogs sleep with them. And that's not right, because they're pack animals and they have to be by you. They like feel like they're protecting you, and they feel like you're protecting them, and they're not. They don't sleep good if you don't let them sleep by you.
That is correct.
So don't be a dick.
To your wolf dog.
Seriously, doggo just wants to be a snug.
Just wants to be a snug. And then that led to how long do you think humans and dogs have gotten together? Like, how long has that been about?
That's in that book. Didn't somebody got you a book and I gave it to you? It's in there.
I haven't read the book that you got me, but this is from my rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's been a long ass time.
So the only thing, like, if you want to confirm it for real, is we have about a 15,000-year-old burial of a woman with her dog.
But there was like,
We assume it's long before that, but like that's solid evidence that humans and dogs were cohabitating at that time.
but there was like Egyptians kept cats and shit too. Like we've always had pets.
But that's like 6,000 years ago.
Whatever. I have a headache. Sorry, no.
We also have a grave of a man and his cat, so that's about the same age. So cats too have been hanging out.
Yeah, we're meant to have friends, and sometimes humans don't want other human friends. They just want a little guy that doesn't talk.
We just want someone who's not going to bitch at us all the time.
Yeah, animals are the best.
They're the perfect babies.
They're the perfect babies. All right, despite how we keep fucking talking, this is an EVP episode, and we will be playing listener calls and weighing in on what they say. So,
I have one more sad thing.
oh, what?
It was about animals.
What?
Do you know that the Romans, when they buried their animals, used to write epitaphs for them on their graves?
That's not sad. That's nice.
Can I read you one?
Oh, gosh. You're just really teaching a class today, huh?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is a Roman epitaph of a dog. It says, "My eyes are wet with tears. Never again shall thou give me 1,000 kisses. Never again will you sit contentedly in my lap, my beloved friend."
Come on, man.
How fucking beautiful.
Don't do this to me right now. I'll leave. I will turn this off. Turn this off.
I just like the fact that thousands of years ago, someone was like, "Who gives me 1,000 kisses?"
They do.
But I mean, the language is still so similar to what we would say today.
It's simple. That's what he's trying to say.
Yep. All right. There you go.
All right. Stop making me emotional.
All right.
Okay.
You got a phone call you're going to play for me?
Yeah, there's like 100.
Oh, no.
Mm.
We really don't need 100, though.
We're not going to do 100.
Okay.
I did, listen, heads up, guys. I did delete some because either A, the sound quality was bad, or B, they were boring as fuck. So... Oh, you can go ahead and wonder what category yours was in if you never hear it. That's for you to decide. I was such an asshole. All right, here's the first message.
Hey guys, this is Misty from South Jersey, Ohio. Can't remember. I'm calling because I just listened to your latest podcast where you guys went to see the pre-screening of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going tonight. I'm very freaking excited about this. But, Jeff, your thirst for Harrison Ford equals mine. I love him, love him, love him. He is my old man crush, has been my crush forever. The movie Raiders came out when I was 9, and I saw it I think I saw it 8 times in the theater as a kid and multiple times as an adult. And I like all 4 of the movies, even the 4th one. I think it's fun. But anyway, he himself. Indiana Jones actually was the reason I wanted to be an archaeologist when I grew up, but I didn't do that. But I did get a history degree, so that counts for something, I think. But Harrison Ford, so cute story. 11 years ago, I was on Wheel of Fortune. And one of the puzzles that I solved, it was one of the quick solve puzzles, and I got $3,000 for it. So that was awesome. Was Harrison Ford. And I got so excited that when Pat Sajak came over to stand by me, I almost dropped and broke the buzzer trying to put it back in its holder. And I got very excited, and I yelled loudly, "I love Harrison Ford!" right in Pat Sajak's ear and to all of America for them to see. So yeah, it was fun, and it still gets made fun of. My husband makes fun of me every time we mention anything with Harrison Ford. And it was the Santa's Week episode, so I get to watch it every Christmas. I watch it and laugh because, that's me. But anyway, just wanted to say, love Harrison Ford, love you guys, love Indiana Jones. Keep on creeping on. Bye.
That was a slow burn.
I would be, if I was on Wheel of Fortune, I'd be constantly yelling at Pet Sajak.
Oh yeah, same. Especially now that he just is a shithead.
Did something happen?
Yeah, he's said some problematic stuff.
Oh, well, he's what, 1,000 years old?
Yeah, probably. He's leaving the show. Apparently, I think it's going to be Ryan Seacrest. That's fucking weird.
Ryan Seacrest is going to do Wheel of Fortune?
I think I read that.
Doesn't he have enough money yet?
Or enough jobs.
Oh my God. He doesn't do Ryan and Kelly in the morning anymore, does he?
No, she does it with her husband, doesn't she?
Oh my God. That's what that happened?
Yeah, I think it's her and Mark Consuelos.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's a disaster. That show was already a disaster with Ryan Seacrest. Kelly Ripa is not great.
I know. I like how they were just like, well, I guess no one else in Hollywood who isn't married to you can fucking talk to you every day. It's annoying. So if you have to hire your husband, the only plan. All right, next message.
Hi, my name's Natalie, long time listener, first time caller. I have a question for both of you. Since you encounter lots of spooky beings, I'm just wondering, do you think that ghosts are aware of other ghosts and other entities? Like, we're aware of ghosts, and sometimes we feel other entities, but I'm just wondering if you think that they see each other or if they're on the same plane. That's it. Thank you. Bye.
I like that question.
We'll go ahead and answer it.
You answer it.
Nope. Go ahead.
You
Big time
know,
paranormal lecturer. Go ahead.
You're such a jack off. I don't know. I don't know, because it depends on where you're basing your view of the paranormal on. Like, in a way, I do like to think of them as all being able to bang into each other, but then also if they're on different planes and they're on different times, then maybe they can't see each other. I don't know. I'm undecided.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah, I don't really need to know the answer, but I like thinking about it.
I think that some probably do interact with each other and some do not, for a variety of reasons. I am sure there are situations where there are ghost spirits, entities, whatever you want to call them, that inhabit a house or a region of land who would not have gotten along in life, and so they do not get along in death, and they refuse to interact with each other. And I'm sure that there is the converse of that, where there are people who loved each other and probably are with each other and interact with each other. And then there's other entities that might just be floating around, going from place to place, here to there, without a care to interact with anyone.
Right.
It's that similarity of like people, right? Like, I'm going to get along with who I get along with and talk to who I talk to. And maybe some ghosts are introverts and some are extroverts and they want to talk to everybody. And that might be annoying to the other ghosts, just like people.
Yeah, it does seem like, though, at some locations there are ghosts that do interact with each other or can see each other or get bad energy from each other. Because, like, in schools and stuff and, jails, asylums, etc., it seems like sometimes when you do EVP work, they're like, it's like one person either complaining about somebody else or talking about somebody else. So they're definitely like are talking about other people that they're existing with.
Yeah, it's hard though, because like, since we don't know what they're experiencing or how they experience things, like you might be doing an EVP session and you're talking to, I don't know, a ghost that's representing itself as Jeff, and that ghost on the EVP is like, Dave down the hall is an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't know, like, does Jeff still think that Dave is alive down the hallway, or is he seeing a dead Dave down the hallway?
Yeah, Dave.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the ghost Jeff might be confused as to what's going on too, so he doesn't know if Dave is still down the hallway or not.
Yeah.
He just knows he's an asshole and doesn't want to talk to him.
You're an asshole and I don't want to talk to you.
All right, that's it. Bye.
All right, so we barely answered your question. Next question.
What's up, weirdos? I'm Kirsten. I just became a pate, and I live in Lansing, so hopefully I can catch y'all at a local event. That would be dope. I wanted to shout out Robin and Maria because I found y'all through Jess's interview on Coffee and Cauldron, and then I binged every episode in like a month, and now I wait super impatiently for you to put out more stuff. And I wanted to bring up that like Mega Mall antique thrift store you guys mentioned passing by in like, I don't know, 2021. It was super early on in the pod, but you said that you like stopped in, looked around, and got like bad vibes. And I don't think you bought much, if anything. And I wanted to say that I live super close to there. And as a kid, my dad took me once. And after that, I would not go back because, like you said, either an item, the location itself, the people there, whatever, just hit me wrong. So yeah, definitely a weird place and maybe not in a good way. Okay, I didn't really have anything else to say. I hope you all have a lovely night, Toad included. Kisses to him. Mwah. And I hope to, I don't know, hang out, hear more from you, do something. I'm excited to be part of this community. Okay, bye.
You remember what she's talking about?
Yes.
The place was the worst.
The worst. It was not great. The thing with thrift stores, though, is that the energy in thrift stores overall is always going to be weird because it's filled with so much like internalized trauma. Like you're getting furniture from people who have died, and families are bringing it and giving away dad's clothes, and like there's so much weird, like just emotional energy stored up in thrift stores that antique stores, it seems to me like are, even though the stuff comes in the same way, people are always fascinated and excited to be in antique stores, where I feel like thrift stores don't have that type of energy to kind of wash it.
I don't know that place. I don't know why, but I felt just like instinctively that it wasn't the stuff, it was the fucking building. It felt like the building.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too.
Yeah, it was yucky. And I don't think we bought one single item.
No.
All right, next message.
What's up, Doma Boys? My name is Jack, long-time caller, first-time listener. I found you guys after Tenny was on an episode of a podcast called A Funny Feeling, probably the best episode of that podcast that I've heard. And on that episode, you guys talked briefly about tulpas, and Betsy and Marcy have talked about tulpas a little bit as well, and the idea of those. And on another podcast I heard, there was a story about a guy who consciously created the tulpa. And I was curious what your thoughts are on that, and if that could be done with a positive purpose behind it. And if so, is that a campaign we can get started to where everybody creates a positive tulpa that can help the world? I appreciate you taking my call, and I'll take my answer off here. Bye.
I like that question too.
I do too. I feel like that question though. So whenever you're in the midst of creating any kind of thought form or trying to manifest a tulpa or an egregore, whatever you want to call it, like the intention has to be super clear. And I feel like trying to get everybody on the same page and trying to get everybody in a good mindset without any personal motivations or greeds feeding into it would be a very, very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, manifestation, whether it's a physical being or just manifesting something into reality. There's a really great story that Rupert Sheldrake talks about, which was in the 1970s. He was with a group of people and they wanted to manifest no war. I mean, you're talking about the kind of height of Vietnam. And one of the guys suggested, let's, in our minds, surround army bases with light. And then someone in the group was like, no, because like maybe that light is bombs exploding on the army bases. So let's not do that.
Yeah, totes.
And so they spent like a year and a half, this is back in the 70s, imagining like flowers growing in military bases and trees growing in military bases as a way to like nature overcoming man's hatred and warlike nature and that type of stuff. And Sheldrake, to this day, kind of laughingly talks about how it might have taken 30 years, but if you look at the majority of military bases, they're closed and abandoned now, and they're filled with flowers and trees. So maybe it kind of worked.
Yeah, it's hard. Maybe if we weren't all thinking of like one tulpa, but like all our own. I don't know if he was saying too, like if we all did our own, that was like a secondary being of good that is by us and doubling our effort.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying, I mean, here's the other thing too, right? Like when you're trying to manifest something, like you, again, that thought has to be really clear and your actions in your mind have to be really focused and concentrated on what you want to happen. And so hopefully, whether or not you create a tulpa, that would also push you into being a better person because you'd have to be in that mind state constantly, right? And so whether or not you manifest a physical creature to help you make the world a more peaceful and beautiful place, the process of trying to create one would make you a person that creates a more peaceful and beautiful world.
Nice. All right. Next question or next call.
Hey guys, it's Jim again. So I got to go to the house as well, the Blumbergs house. Stayed a couple days before you guys, and you are 10,000% right, Jess. They are even sweeter in person. They were constantly wanting to buy us stuff, like they were going to feed us, and I mean, those dogs were just amazing. I mean, I don't know how much time you got to spend with them since they were kind of letting Toad have the run of things, but they were amazingly awesome. And the community that we stayed on, I don't know if you guys stayed in Chatham or not too, but yeah, it was special. I'll have to send you a Marco Polo to talk more about what I experienced in the hotel I was in and the stuff going on there. But anyway, hope you guys had a great time. It sounds like you did. I'm actually listening to the pod episode, I can tell you. So amazing times. Glad you guys got to go, and hopefully we get to hang again soon. And don't forget, Kenny, we're going to try to go to the Star Trek convention, hopefully before too long.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Right. Are the Blumbergs, are they doing something else now? They keep showing like more updates and stuff they're doing. Are they just constantly working on that house?
Yeah, they like painted that whole downstairs hallway and redid that and redid the floor. And then I think they're working on right now that like side room where that good couch was.
Their energy makes me tired.
I know. And how the whole family, like what? There is no way, if there was something that needed done in my house when we were little, ain't no way all of us were helping. There's no way. You can maybe get one kid, you're not getting all the kids. Like how would they get the whole family on board with all their projects?
My family did not function that way.
Oh, yeah, they really got something special going because
They really do. You want to talk about manifesting some positive energy. I mean, my family was not like you said, I had a sister and me, and maybe you could get one of us to do something for an hour, but then we were out.
yeah, same. Yeah. Not to redo all the floors and the walls in the whole house.
Unless your drunken father makes you dig a tunnel under the ground, and then you spend weeks on one project and you dig a tunnel under the house. Mole patrol.
Tales of Tenny's abuse as a child. Next call.
Hey, it's your friend Jason from Twitter. So I have a paranormal question I need an expert answer on. When I was in college, I lived in a old house. It was owned by the campus, but it was like a real old house. And it was definitely haunted. Everybody had an experience there that lived in the house, including me. But at some point in the last 20 years, they tore that house down and they built an exact, not the same house, but a new house in the exact spot where it was. Are the ghosts still there? Do you think that house is still haunted? That's the question. Thanks. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Everybody's questions this week.
Yeah, very paranormal question-based show.
Well, yeah.
Well, go ahead and answer, lecturer.
Why do you keep making me do everything first? I don't know. Again, I feel like I'm torn. Yes, it could be. No, it couldn't be. But I tend to be more on the yeah, it would be side because I feel like it would make the land in the area weird.
I think that maybe yes, maybe no. It depends on if the ghost is connected with the actual structure of the house. Once the structure is gone, maybe the ghost goes with all of the rubble and debris. If it's attached to the land, it probably stays on the land. If it sees new things going on it doesn't like, maybe it just moves off property. All the options are there. One of the things that always cracks me up is when people are like, ghosts definitely, I've talked to people before who have said this, ghosts definitely stay in the location where the house was. And that always makes me think how weird that would be if 5 billion years from now when the sun goes supernova and the earth blows up, somewhere out in space is going to be this planet-sized sphere with a bunch of ghosts just moving through space thinking the earth is still there.
Flying around in a bubble.
Just flying around where the planet used to be. And they're like, oh, I used to be in this house 5 billion years ago on a planet that's no longer here.
I made a deal to haunt this 20 square foot square and it's not here anymore. So I can't move. I
cannot move. 5 billion years from now in space, there's still a ghost pretending to go up and down a flight of steps.
It's just in the stars. Space ghosts. So many ghosts in this episode. All right, next call.
Hi, this is Emily from Seattle. Again, back with another unhinged voicemail. To preface this story, I recently just started leading haunted pub tours through Seattle, and that's why this popped into my head. Basically, we start these tours with a little bit of Seattle history. If you don't know anything about Seattle, basically in 1969, Seattle burned to the ground. Nobody died except for probably like hundreds and hundreds of rats. And the fire started in a portion of Seattle called Pioneer Square. This is important because, well, presumably that's where all of the rats died. In theory, there were probably a lot of rats there because whenever the tide came in, it actually flooded the streets of Seattle at the time with sewage. So it would go out and then it would come back in and bring all the sewage back. So Seattle was a very gross place back in the day until it burned down and then they built the city anew over top of the city. So Seattle has a whole city underneath it that you can actually still go see. But I digress. Anyway, I was thinking the other day, I went on a pub tour years ago. We went on this pub crawl that ended in Pioneer Square. And at about 1 or 2 in the morning, we were standing out in a park, and I was just sort of wandering because I was drunk, and that's what you do when you're drunk. And I turned a corner, and I am standing in this park, and all of a sudden, the street ahead of me was flooded with rats, and I mean like hundreds of rats, like hundreds and hundreds of them, and they all ran down the street, and they turned a corner, and then they disappeared. And the real weird thing about it is that like literally nobody else saw it except for like one other dude, but like my roommates didn't see it. Nobody else at the pub crawl saw it. Nobody made any comments. I told my roommate there was just a street full of rats, and they looked at me like I was insane. And it didn't occur to me until recently when I started talking about these pub tours that maybe they were ghost rats, like maybe the rats were ghosts, and that's why everybody missed it. Or I don't know, maybe it was just like hundreds of rats in the street. I actually thought that I was going to die at the time. I was like, these rats are running from Godzilla or a tsunami or something. So for 3 days, I was like, we are all going to die. And then we didn't. So maybe it was ghost rats. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I don't know why I needed to leave you this voicemail. And I also talked very fast. So hopefully this is like actually legible. I'm sorry, I'm at Gilmore Girls speed. Anyway, that's it. I love you guys. Hopefully you're staying cool in Michigan. We are not staying cool in Seattle. It is much too hot and no one has air conditioning. So I don't know. Pray for us, I guess. Anyway, that's all. That's it. Love you guys. All right, bye.
Bye. Ghost rats.
Ghost rats.
I'm into it.
See, those ghost rats stayed in the same space as they were in the past.
Billions of years from now, in an empty patch of space, ghost rats.
Ghost rat ball in space. Street rat ghosts.
Pioneer the underground city in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Any listeners out there watch the 1970s show Kolchak, the Night Stalker. There's an episode filmed in Pioneer Village in the underground city of Seattle. It's very cool.
I don't know anything of what you're talking about.
All right, that's fine.
Next call.
Hey, friends. This is Corey from Des Moines. I just wrapped up listening to an episode of the pod where Tenny's describing the rapture from the Bible and all the weird stuff associated with that. And it like flashed me back to my 20s where I was really into Jesus, and I just had to call and tell you a story about it because it's incredibly embarrassing, and the best way to get over that is to share it with everybody online. So here it goes. I was in my early 20s and really into Jesus and was meeting up with a bunch of Bible study friends at a bonfire out in the country. And I got there late because I had to work. And when I pulled into the farm where the bonfire was being held, I saw the huge fire and I saw everybody's cars all around. But I walked down to the fire and no one was there. Everybody was gone. The whole place was just completely deserted and empty. I could not figure out what was going on. I freaked out because I was convinced that the rapture had just happened. I'd been left behind because I was a sinner, and I was going to be eternally damned for it. So I end up, now understand, I'm in my 20s at this point. I'm a 22-year-old person, adult person. I drive to my grandparents' house because they're only a few miles down the road from the farm, and absolutely in tears because I'm convinced that this horrible thing has happened, and I make them turn on the TV news just to make sure that planes weren't falling out of the sky and all of this stuff. Obviously, the rapture didn't occur that day, and they had all just gone on a hayrack ride, and there was nobody there to tell me that they were out in the fields having fun. Anyway, that's my story. Christianity really fucks with you. At least certain segments of it do. So, love the pod. appreciate everything you guys do. Take care.
Look at that.
Listen, when I listened to that message yesterday, I could not stop fucking laughing. I was like, this poor guy thinks all of his friends just blipped out of this earth and he was all alone. And I was laughing so hard. I'm like, that it's so sad, but it's so fucking funny.
I'm telling you, when people get sucked up into the sky.
Oh my God, I loved it. I love that call. This girl, he thinks he's gonna find his friends, and oh nope, they got snatched right the fuck up.
The idea with Rapture, though, is your clothes would be left behind, so he should have looked for their clothes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you don't need them. You're going to get new heavenly bodies when you get blipped up.
Well, he didn't know.
Now he knows. They're not going to know.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're going to know.
Next call.
Hey, what's up, weirdo? I wanted to call and let you know how I found your podcast. I had been living in a new town for about a decade, so maybe not that new, but I've been going through a lot of new shit. And all of a sudden I was like, what, I need to get back to my old interests. So I decided to do a Google search on the town I live in, Decatur, Illinois, and weird. And I came up with the realm of the weird. And after reading several of the articles, I was like, wait a minute. I follow this guy, John Tinney, on Twitter. What's going on? So then I searched John Tinney and found your guys' podcast and have enjoyed it ever since. I just wanted to say thank you, and I really love it. It brings a little bit of joy to my week, and I love hearing what you guys are doing. Thanks so much. Have a great night.
See, look at that.
I liked it.
Maybe the magical, mystical, disappearing diner in Decatur was all just so that person could find our podcast.
You never know.
You never know.
Next call.
Hi, my name's Nikita. I'm from New York. I am a fairly new listener. I just recently discovered your podcast, so I'm still trying to catch up. But I apologize if you've spoken on this topic before, but I was just curious what both of your thoughts are on haunted dolls or just haunted items in general. Just whatever you think. I would love to hear your knowledge and everything about it. So
Oh, I guess it just ended. That's it. That's it.
Haunted phone.
Haunted phone. Will you make me go first again? Are you gonna?
No, I think that objects, like people, like places, like areas, like land masses, can all hold some type of memory. It's probably just some kind of field that we don't understand of memory, of emotion that can surround, again, a piece of land, a house, an object itself. But I don't think, as an action figure and toy collector.
Don't say that like it's cool. You say that like as someone who has a Harley Davidson.
I mean, I've had hundreds of quote unquote dolls, if not thousands of them, and like not one of them has ever seemed weird to me, and I think that it has more to do with me than it has to do with the actual item.
I don't know how the fuck people keep disgusting dolls in their house. Like people who have a collection, people just have them out like baby dolls. That creeps me out so fucking bad. I don't give a fuck if they're haunted or not. Baby dolls are terrifying. They're just asking to be haunted just from looking like that.
I really don't have a problem with any kind of toys, and I really do I actually feel bad because toys are created to be enjoyed and to be loved and to create joy. And so when they become associated with horror and evil and sadness and terrible ghosts and stuff like that, I think it's doing a disservice to the creation of the product itself.
Okay, but then there's also the thing where you get a new toy and it's like cute and it's nice and it's happy, but then when it gets either forgotten about or it gets fucking dirty, then it just looks like fucking evil and disgusting.
Well, then don't fucking forget about it and let it get dirty and disgusting.
Okay, not everybody watches YouTube videos about how to fucking redo their old toys.
Well, they're worth it. They bring joy to me.
You bring me nothing but agony. How's that?
That's fine.
Okay, next call.
hello from Illinois. My name is Chelsea. You might know me as Halloween Jack on Instagram. I just wanted to share a fun little story. It's not my experience. It is my husband Nathan's experience. And if it sounds like I'm reading this, it's because I am, since I am about as good at telling stories as Jessica is at describing movies. So here we go. So back in 2009, I believe, we were involved in a haunted attraction that was located in the basement of a local office building. It is coincidentally rumored to be haunted anyway. And at one point during one of the nights that we worked that, Nathan was walking down the 3 steps that led to a long hallway. And when he reached the bottom, he saw what appeared to be himself at the other end. He says he watched it walk towards and through him, felt what he describes as fingers in his stomach. And when he turned around, the figure was gone. And I always like to note that his costume was not like anything that anyone else in the building was wearing at the time, as it was simply an outfit from his own closet, an entirely all black ensemble, which consisted of black pants, black shirt, black jacket, black tie, black shoes, black leather gloves with a piece of black cloth over his face and a black hat. So no one else that was working in the haunted house looked like him. And also, when we told that story to the owner of the building at the time, he said that when it had been a restaurant some years prior, a waitress had the same experience. So I like sharing that story. I think it's neat. And I'm not at all bitter that he's the one who has all the cool, spooky things happen to him. Love you guys. Thank you for sharing your lives with us. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Her husband met a doppelganger, maybe his future self.
I know.
Or boyfriend. Did she say husband or boyfriend?
I think husband.
Yeah, maybe a doppelganger, future
Oh.
self. When I went to Waverly Hills Sanatorium, 3 different times, people called me Gary. They kept seeing a guy all around the area who looked just like me, except his name was Gary.
That's weird.
Yes, it was very strange.
Next call.
Hey guys, Jess, Don, Ode. This is Mr. Trout from the Tweeters, calling you from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Real name John, but you don't have to use it because it'll get confusing. On this week's episode, Bigfoot Burst of Love, you were talking about musical synchronicities, and the weirdest one that ever happened to me was a couple of years ago after my brother died. Not to make it a sob story, but he died horribly in a fire, and I was pretty bent out of shape about it after. But I had to drive to New York City from the Poconos for an audition. And as I was driving, I was probably hungover because I was drinking pretty heavily at the time because of, depression and shit. So I'm driving New York and keeping up with the traffic, so I was speeding. And I'm not really paying attention, which is always a bad idea going into the city. And suddenly on the radio, I didn't know who it was at the time, but I Googled it after, the Brian Setzer Orchestra comes on with a live set of Drive Like Lightning, Crash Like Thunder, which in the middle of it, much to my surprise, there was someone in the band playing a riff on the rhythm guitar of the Munsters theme, which was weird because my brother was a jazz guitarist, and whenever he played, he would always try to work something like the Addams Family theme into Oh Holy Night or something like that, just for fun. And the Munsters theme was his favorite one to work in there, and that snapped me alert and got my attention just before I did a stupid thing on the highway. And then I lived, obviously, because I'm talking to you. And afterwards, it really stuck in my mind because it was so freaky that someone had done that when it was my brother's favorite thing. So I'm Googling like an idiot, trying to find a live version of the Brian Setzer Orchestra doing Drive Like Lightning and finding the one that has the Munsters being tucked into it somewhere. Listen to dozens of versions, couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm left wondering if that was something from my brother. Don't know, couldn't prove it, but it happened. So anyway, love you guys. Switch the puppy for me, and see you next time. Bye.
I love that story.
I know, I do too. Like, now that we've been talking about hauntings and if they persist and if it's the whatever, but it's like, what if somebody haunted a fucking song? Like, what if that wasn't in there?
It's pretty awesome. I we talk about this all the time with synchronicities and messages from the universe. And I love stories like that one because it's so person specific. It doesn't mean anything except to the one person that it needs to mean something for.
Right.
Because people are always looking like, how does this one apply to this one, and this one, and make a bigger picture out of everything? Like everything has to all be connected. Like it doesn't. Like it can be this one thing, this one time meant for you right now. It doesn't have to connect to a larger, huge string board of conspiracy. It can be just one thing. That's why I think they're really actually beautiful when they're like that.
Yeah, and two, like, not only do they not have to apply to a million different people, they can only apply to you, but sometimes they only apply to you in a certain window, whereas other times in your life you wouldn't even have found that fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really amazing when you look at, like, I tell ghost stories but at my lectures, but sometimes I just tell little synchronicity stories, because everything that has to happen for it to happen in that window of when it means something.
Right.
Like, it's just an amazing process. And I love that there's no figuring it out. It's just they happen because they need to happen when they happen.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
So do you have any other dog graves you want to read to us, or are we good?
Do I have any other dog graves I can read to you?
Come on. I didn't want another one. I don't want another one.
Can I tell you about Sergeant Stubby?
Who is Sergeant Stubby?
Sergeant Stubby was a bulldog in World War One. He served for 18 months in 17 battles in France. He was wounded in the leg from a grenade. He was wounded with mustard gas. He captured a German spy all by himself and saved 100 soldiers.
Dang.
And he is mostly known as like the dog that saved the most people during the World War One.
Oh my god.
They've made movies about him. Sergeant Stubby.
Sergeant Stubbs. This would be me in a war trying to be so super serious and trying not to die, and then somebody sends out the dog and I'm fucking dead.
Sergeant Stubby, when he was in one of the trenches in World War One, which is where he got sick with mustard gas.
Mm-hmm.
And when they took him to convalesce at the back with the rest of the soldiers, which actually helped all of the soldiers, they were like, oh, there's a dog here. And they were all happy to take care of the dog. Once he got better, they made him a dog gas mask so that would never happen to him again. And since his sniffer was so sensitive, he could tell when the mustard gas had been released before it got to the trenches. And so they would watch him. And as soon as he would run in the other direction, they'd be like, here comes the mustard gas. And they knew to get out.
Why does this sound familiar? Did they use birds for that or some shit?
Are you thinking about canaries and coal mines?
Maybe. No, but I think I've watched a war movie, I swear, where they were like trying to figure out shit on a battlefield and they like let something out first. I don't fucking remember.
Well, I'm just telling you about Sergeant Stubby.
I fucking will die for Sergeant Stubby.
You should look up a picture of him. He's the cutest.
That's the first thing on my list when we get off of here, obviously.
That's all I got.
All right, great job. I like your research. I like your topics.
Thanks.
I had a whole lot of nothing to talk about this week because I've been working a lot and I've been doing things and I've been decompressing and I've just been kind of blank. But
very good.
Good job. Great job. All right.
Good work. Thanks everybody for calling in.
Oh yeah, thanks for calling in. If you guys want to be on a future episode, A, don't make your story boring. B, you can call 313-444-5170. And you can be drunk if you want. You can swear. You can, any topic, creepy or not creepy. You can name drop. You can do whatever you want.
And if you're just listening to the podcast on your podcast service subscription provider, whatever it is, your podcast provider, and you want more content, you can join our Patreon.
Oh shit, join our Patreon. It's fun.
It's very fun. It's patreon.com/whatsupweirdo.
And we all talk and we all have fun and there's videos in there and exclusive shit, contests, all sorts of stuff to get to know us better and be our friends and family.
Yes. All right, I'm done.
Okay, I'm done too. I need a glass of wine.
I've been having one a night.
I keep doing the thing where you pour one and then you fall asleep like a fucking loser.
I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I pop 2 melatonins and drink a glass of wine.
Dang, you are trying to mellow out.
I am.
Be a gummy worm.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.